Scoot over.
Okay, that's good.
Oh, wait. Emmett said we need a plant.
Yeah, we're getting cultured.
Yes. This is actually a Christmas cactus.
Right.
It's just blooming now, so apparently it has no sense of time.
Right. Well, they celebrate, Christmas a different time than we do.
I guess so. So you've written a book, and we've got it somewhere.
Yeah.
Here. What's your book about?
Well, it started out, it was just trying to get kind of a different perspective on nature. And all I did was just take instances when I or someone else was just utterly engaged with nature and just kind of set them out and hoping that you would get kind of another perspective on just the kind of the vast idea of nature. But what happened immediately as I would write these experiences out, there was always more that was written that often seemed far beyond my ability to write, and that became pretty fascinating. And so this was going somewhere, and wasn't sure where, and the only way I was going to find out was just to keep writing. And in a nutshell, that's what it was.
Yeah.
And there was themes that kind of kept appearing and reappearing that were utterly unexpected, and that was kind of fascinating.
So nature, gardening. So gardening is part of your life. That's become larger and larger.
Well, that was also interesting. What is nature? And not just the traditional things, but like holding my father's hand when he died. That's nature. Having a relationship with my family. You can look at it in a cultural sense, but it's also a natural sense. And and so anyway, it was much more expansive than I kind of realized.
Right.
So.
But the traditional natural things are.
And there are plenty of those in there.
Yeah. So like gardening has become a big part of your life.
Yeah, mountain climbing.
And mountain climbing.
And just exploring.
And exploring. Yeah. Those are kind of the themes that you kind of hit on. And then, of course, there is the...
They weren't the themes as much as they were the vehicles that exposed the themes. That's how I would put it.
Okay. So I've read the book.
Oh, okay.
I would classify... I mean, obviously everything that you said is correct, but, I would classify it in a long tradition of books where Jews argue with God. and you've got some complaints.
So it's commentary.
Well, so for instance, so
criticism.
Classic is Abraham and Sarah. First, people, in the Bible.
Uh-huh.
God comes down, tells them that they're going to have a child, even though they're very old.
Right.
And they're like, no, we're not.
Yeah. Sarah laughs.
Sarah laughs at it.
This is not in the book, by the way.
No. I'm saying this is in the grand tradition of Jews arguing with God about things.
Uh-huh.
So that's the first one. Then you get Abraham arguing with God about how many good people should be
right.
In Sodom and Gomorrah before he decides to destroy it all.
Right.
Looking for the person in charge of hiring.
Oh, right.
Oh, my God.
Right.
Anyway, Sodom and Gomorrah.
Mm-hmm.
God wants to destroy it. Abraham basically haggles him down from killing, I can't remember how many, 100 people down to like 20.
Yeah.
Or maybe less. Anyway.
It's less than, I think, 5 or maybe even less. He says, okay, I'll spare it for that.
Yeah.
But anyway, no, I take that.
And then further, you get Moses. So Moses, where God chooses Moses to lead, and Moses is just like, I can't do this. You got the wrong guy.
Right.
And there's just lots of back and forth.
Mm-hmm.
And so there is like an experience of nature in the world that, like you said, goes beyond the typical definition of what people might think of nature as, which is just like grass in a field.
Right.
But the larger sense of nature, which is almost like existence.
Mm-hmm.
And then just kind of grapple with what that is. So death is part of existence.
Yeah.
And, all of those things that it's hard to talk about it directly.
Mm-hmm.
And so the only way that we know how to do it is through stories that we have.
Yeah.
Is that your sense? I mean, that's how I think about it.
Well, all the stories, I think there was 43 or something like that, they were all vehicles to kind of express kind of this wonder or this mystery that became surprisingly articulate in ways that I had no idea, had no expectation
Yeah.
for.
Well, and it's written in poetry form, but reads very much like stories.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So,
Yeah.
And I always really liked that as a medium.
You had the liberation of form where you didn't have to have just all these paragraphs.
Right.
You could cut the line, you do the line breaks kind of to emphasize meaning. But you could, there was a big sense of prose about it. But, when poetry came, so much the better.
Yeah. And this image, so there's no name on the book at the front, and we kind of kept it that way. But this image is, tell people about this, what this image is.
So later in the book, there's a section about kind of this mountain climb I did. It took a few days. And I think there's 4 different sections in the book about it.
Ypsilon, right?
Ypsilon Mountain in Rocky Mountain Park. And the photograph was when I reached the top of the western ridge. And it was kind of a harrowing experience. I was by myself. But anyway, when I reached the top, I took that picture. I forgot all about it until Joy started putting the book together, and there it was.
Yeah, nice thing. It looks kind of like an amorphous rock landscape, but in the bottom here, so you can see your foot.
Yeah, that's my foot.
That's your foot. And then there's the jacket, and then you do get your name on the spine of the book, and it's called 1 = 0.
Yep.
Yeah, you don't have to explain anything.
Well, it's interesting that I've written it all my life, and I kind of accumulated a lot of work that was theological at first. And
You used to teach religious school.
yeah, it was a body of work, and but with all these disparate ideas, and I wanted to come up with an idea that kind of subsumed everything and that kind of summarized everything, so I could be done with that thought and work. And so anyway, I came up with the piece called 1 = 0, which to me did that. And I won't explain it all that much, but I didn't intend on it being in the book, because that was the first piece written in the book.
Even though it's like in the middle somewhere?
It's towards the end.
Towards the end.
But what happened was I had this mountain experience with an evangelical preacher who was saved. And he was an interesting character, and so that kind of led into kind of a theological little jaunt where there was, I think, 3 different, maybe more, little stories at the end. And so anyway, then it seemed appropriate to put 1 = 0 in. And so I did.
Yeah. I read that as a paradox.
Yeah, it's a mathematical expression of paradox.
Okay. Yeah. So, yeah, that's how I see it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. It's on our website. We are the sole seller. We're giving Amazon a run for their money. We're starting to sell books now.
Right. And I'm losing money on it too, am I?
You're not losing money. I raised the price to $19.95.
Okay.
Because you shouldn't lose money on your book.
Well, I just want to get it out there.
Yes, and it's still reasonable, I think. And it's been a little bit of an interesting experience because your current condition has affected your ability to read.
Oh yeah.
But not so much write. You have a better time writing than you do reading.
Yeah.
And so it's been
brain cancer does that.
Yeah. So through the editing process, it's been challenging. And so part of it was I wanted you to record yourself reading some of these things.
Yeah,
that's gotten progressively harder.
Yeah, I can't read with any regularity.
But you knew these so well.
Yeah, I can compose.
Right.
And thank goodness for spell check.
Right. So yeah, you almost knew these by heart.
Some of them I do.
Yeah. And so we got through editing that way.
Mm-hmm.
And then your work, you're still writing.
Yeah. I've always written.
Yeah.
And it's just kind of part of being.
I mean, reading was a big part of your life.
Yeah, I like to read. Can't anymore.
Yeah. How is that?
It's analogous to Beethoven, who was writing the great Ninth Symphony, and he lost his ability to hear. And here I am writing, and I can't read anymore. So, it's an interesting challenge, but I'm figuring it out.
Yeah. Good.
So.
Okay.
Yeah, and so at this stage of your life, why not write a book and see what happens?
Yeah.
So anyway.
Good. Yeah, I think that's great.
Well, good.
Do you have anything else to add?
I'm interested in feedback for anybody that gets a book. I'm very much interested in what you think. More than anything, I don't care about the money on this. I care about what people think. Here are my ideas, and my life's, nearing its end, and so anyway, the response very much interests me.
Yeah. And yeah, if $20 is too much for you right now, I'm sure if you just call us up or let us know, that we'll send you a copy.
Yeah.
And maybe we should have like a book club. We could have like a reading.
Yeah, Epstein's book club.
Yeah,
Right.
I would just have to be your surrogate reader.
Right.
But I do think I am your son, but just reading it was a lot of stuff I thought was very powerful and moving, and so I really enjoyed going through it. Some of these are stories that I know,
Mm-hmm.
but the way that they unfold on the page is just, it's much different than just hearing you tell it.
Right. And I have to add that, here we are, a store that, once commissioned
You're going to bring out the perfume thing.
the perfume that sell like heart. Or just the other day, Jory was online in his alter ego singing Christmas carols.
That's right. I forgot about that.
This Saturday, we have Pancake Day at Epstein's, where everyone comes gets free pancakes.
And we're going to we're working on making a beer for the local Carpenters Millwrights Union.
Oh, that's going to be cool.
Yeah.
Oh, and what else? Oh, we also have new hats coming out.
Oh, yeah.
So
I forgot about that. I thought those were going to be ready.
Yeah.
We're going to descend into Epstein's business. Then we're going to start talking about Count's Tool and all sorts of stuff.
Right.
Let's just keep a book.
Okay.
All right?
Okay.